So go ahead and take your legs up the wall or up the bed or up the chair, or however you enter Viparita Karani, one of my, if I don't know, 8 times out of 10, right? That's how we start the practice. Because for me, this is the pause point. I do this pose before bed pretty much every single night. And sometimes I'll do it in the middle of the day. This is one of the fastest ways for me to shift out of my go, do, think, right? My go, do, think, act into my be and breathe and receive and release. So give yourself a couple of minutes to put your legs up the wall, up the bed, even just stack up some cushions and lay back. We want the feet above the head. We want the head supported, the spine long. You can cover your eyes or do anything else to make yourself comfortable. And begin to breathe. And as you breathe, feel the back body settling into the earth, connecting to the earth. We are just into this brand new lunar cycle. Yesterday was the exact new moon in the fixed earth element. And this particular new moon is coming out of a very intense month of eclipses and retrograde. And in the northern hemisphere, this is the middle of spring. This is the new moon closest to the mid-spring. In the southern hemisphere, the middle of fall. So it's potent for transformation and growth. And as I was sort of meditating on the quality and the energy and the inspiration, I was thinking about the Hindu deity Ganesha, or often sometimes called Ganesh. And whether you are consciously aware of that name or not, most of you have seen some kind of depiction of an elephant god. There's a lot, if you go into any yoga studio, a lot of Indian restaurants, really anything sort of inspired by Hindu or Indian culture, Ganesha is the most beloved of all of the deities. Has an elephant head and a round little boy body, and it has a mouse that rides on. And Ganesha often has sweets. Ganesha rules the sweet tooth and also the earth energy. And most of all, Ganesha is known for being the remover of obstacles with that mighty trunk. So a lot of times Ganesha is placed at the beginning, at the door, at the opening. So it kind of keeps the obstacles out. And so to start this new moon energy, this earth energy coming out of a very intense cycle, there's still a lot of things happening very quickly right now, a lot of sort of uncertainty. And so Ganesh is the deity we come to when we really want to ground into the sweetness and also pause to determine the path forward. And I'm going to tell, there's a lot of wonderful stories about Ganesh, and I usually tell sort of abbreviated ones in this practice, but as you're settling into Viparita Karani, as you're breathing the back body into the earth, you might bring in the image of an elephant as you breathe. And even if it's, you have a favorite elephant from a movie or from a show, or maybe you are familiar with this depiction of Ganesha, but Ganesha is the child of the deities Shiva and Parvati. And actually his birth story is pretty interesting. He didn't actually have the head of the elephant when he was born. He ended up getting that from Shiva, and that's another story. But Ganesha is the child of Shiva and Parvati, and he has a half sibling, Skandasana. And there's this story of, Parvati and Shiva are trying to, deal with their children, right? Their children are kind of being children, running around, causing issues. And so they say, okay, we're going to play a game. The first one of you to run around the earth, remember these are deities, the run around the earth faster, you're going to win a prize, right? You're going to win a prize. And so his brother Skandasana is actually Shiva and the water deity's child. And so Skanda can move really, really quickly. And so Skanda starts going around the earth. And Ganesha has this little round little boy body and this elephant head. So he knew there's no way he's going to beat his brother, even with his deity powers. So he pauses, and then very, very slowly he starts to walk around his parents. And as he finishes and he gets to them, they say, well, what are you doing? And he says, well, you are my world. So I just walked around the world. And of course, right, what parent isn't going to love that? And so he ended up winning the prizes, right? And so the story in this is that sometimes when we are facing an insurmountable obstacle or an obstacle of any kind, like, hey, go take a lap around the planet, sometimes if we pause and we really come back to the present and we really get simple and we really get present, like I said, again, like that real clear presence, it's like, okay, run around the world, right? Go run around the world. Well, actually, what is my world? My parents are my world. So I'm going to do that. And so in that way, right, and then we sort of tap into this sweetness as well. We tap into this energy. And so that story to me always really sort of exemplifies the qualities of Ganesh and Ganesh's ability to pause, to make a grounded action, and to come back to this sweetness, right? So rather than it being this big competition with his brother and the different abilities, he found a way within his own abilities to accomplish that and ended up being rewarded. So as we settle into this practice tonight and this new moon, this earth energy, we might consider some of the obstacles that maybe are around us, whether us directly or just around us. And a lot of them might feel insurmountable or just tiring or frustrating or agitating. And so may we take this time in this new moon energy, in this earth energy, in this moving forward into the next half of this season energy and sort of ask for that grounded, present pause to offer a solution through sweetness and intention. And sometimes, those obstacles are placed in order for us to take that pause and figure out if our course is the right one. And when we go deeper into some of the mythology of Ganesha, which, like I said, you could spend, hours, days just studying the mythology and story around this particular deity. But sometimes it is said that Ganesha intentionally places those obstacles so that we can pause and come back to present, to sweetness, and change our course. And oftentimes, when we get frustrated with things, right, where it's like, why did I get a flat tire? Or why did I get a ticket? Sometimes that is the universe slowing us down so that we can pause and reset. And so with this new moon, again, it's earthy, it's very much in the material realm, but can we maybe view our obstacles as being divinely placed? And that we have the opportunity, especially through restorative yoga, to slow down, to stop, to find the sweetness and to move from there. And again, maybe we do a completely different direction. Maybe we take a completely different tactic, and that is appropriate because of some of the support right now with this new moon. It's the moon, it's the sun, it is Venus, it is Jupiter, it is Uranus. So there's a lot of energy around this. And so the obstacles coming up right now, they are guiding us into a different direction. And while that direction may not be clear, we get to choose those next steps with sweetness. And that is when we invoke Ganesh, when we have these obstacles, when we're struggling to pause, when we're struggling to find the sweetness in the presence. And go ahead and take a few more deep breaths with the back body focus. Breathing into the earth. Again, maybe letting that image of that elephant be with you in this practice. Now we will work a little bit with a mantra, but the seed for Ganesh is Gam, G-A-M. And so you can even breathe in and out that seed sound. And we will work with the mantra. The full mantra is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which is we bow to the remover of obstacles. We bow to the great Ganesh. We invoke Ganesha. And so, and just in your own way, inviting this energy into the practice, into this lunar cycle, into this pause you've taken in your day, in your week, your month. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And that's a great mantra to work with, especially if there's, before you're going into a situation that feels like an obstacle or when you get stuck, to just take that pause and work with that mantra or that seed. And this energy is all within us. The deities represent archetypes that are present within us. And one more big, big breath in. Drink in that inhale. And then sigh it out. And you can slowly start to draw the knees into the chest for a moment and just rock. Rock your hips, rock your head, soften your face, and breathing into the back body, the earth support. And Ganesha is connected to the root chakra. Elephants in general, right? Very earthy creatures. If you've ever seen them up close anywhere, amazing. And then you can roll to the left side into fetal pose. The left side is the lunar side. This new moon energy, curling your heart towards the earth. And it is tricky to be appreciative of obstacles, right? Because they get in our way. They take up our time, they waste our time, right? It's like, it's not what we want to do, and yet sometimes those obstacles are such blessings, even if it's just to change our direction, our perception. This cycle in general is coming back to values and worth and re-clarifying values. And sometimes obstacles, right? I had a, situation with my son the other day. We went to the ER, and I tell you, when you or your loved one needs to go to the ER, your priorities come clear real quick, right? Like what I was worrying about at work, not really such a big deal anymore. And he's okay, and we're fine. It's just, sometimes those obstacles bring us back to what's important. And that is such an important practice, to remember what really matters. Because we do get very caught up in other things, a lot of distractions, a lot of little obstacles littered, and then those big ones, they wake us up, and that's sometimes why Ganesha places them. Go ahead and slowly start to lift yourself up, and we're gonna come up to stand, not for too long, of course, in this class, right? We don't do too long standing. But I do want you to take a nice, I don't know, shoulder distance stance with your feet, toes pointing forward, really just letting yourself land in this position, grounding the feet, lifting the spine, just nice sturdy base, right? Those strong elephant legs, although technically Ganesh has, little boy legs, but still sturdy, strong legs. And you can place a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly and just ground in and soften. And we're going to tone the mantra for Ganesha, and you can just listen, or you can hum, or you can join in. And we'll do it one word at a time. So we'll do Om, Gam, Ganapataye, and then Namaha. And again, you can just listen to. Om. Gam. Ganapataye. Namaha. And then inhale, reach the arms up if that's okay. And you can press your palms together almost like you were lifting a mighty trunk up to the sky. And then soften your knees, roll forward, let your hands stay together, and let yourself come into ragdoll with this trunk. So press your palms together, if that's okay. If not, you can release them. And just let yourself rock side to side. So just like, again, you had an elephant trunk and you were letting it move down towards the earth. Just a little bit of gentle movement here as you rock a little bit side to side. Pressing down through your feet, lengthening through your trunk, circling around a little bit with it, moving right and left. And this can be a small or a big movement. This is ragdoll in the Yin tradition, with a little Ganesha trunk flavor. You can lengthen a little bit more. You can bend your knees and straighten your legs a little bit. Rock. Just releasing the spine. And then again, soften your knees. Keep your little trunk intact as you roll yourself up. And then again, reach the arms up. Clasp your hands, turn your palms up for a moment to the sky now. So again, lifting up through that trunk, and then round forward, palms press forward, soften your knees and stretch out your upper back like we were doing a standing cat pose. Pressing through your palms, knees bent, hips back, press out. Again, like that big trunk is stretching out, opening the upper back, opening the spine, knees soft. Press your feet down, inhale, straighten the legs, reach up, lift up one more time, lift up through your hands and maybe lift your gaze or keep your head neutral. And then gently side bend to the right, just a little bit. And then bring it up and over. And again, if this is too much to keep your hands clasped, you can just release one hand at a time, or however that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, we're just getting a little bit more opening through the shoulders, through the side body, keeping the head in line with your arms. And like we're just swinging that trunk side to side, opening up the side body, pressing down through the feet. The feet are still nice and wide. Take another breath, one more to each side. And then again, round forward into that cat pose, press the palms away from you, bend your knees. Take another big inhale, and then exhale, release the hands and fold into that ragdoll. And again, we'll just hold here. So you can keep that movement going if that felt good. If you want, you can bring a chair in or blocks, or you can turn your body to face the bed or the couch. And again, just being here a little bit longer. Any movement that feels good, really opening up the back of the legs, decompressing the spine. So the whole back body opens in Uttanasana. Lengthen, soften, shake out your head. It's really grounding here, grounding into the body, opening up the back body, folding towards the earth. Big, big inhale. Open mouth, exhale. And then slowly, you can start to bend your knees and lower yourself down onto your butt. And we're gonna move on to the back. And if you have a strap, you can grab the strap. If you don't have a strap, you don't necessarily need one. You can also use like a little belt for a robe or an actual belt, or even just like a stretchy long sleeve t-shirt. And then let yourself roll down onto your back. Place your feet down, still nice and wide. So nice and wide here. And if you need to add any support under your head, you can definitely do that. And if you have pillows or blocks, you can always put them on kind of the sides of the mat. We're going to start with a little bit of windshield wiper here. So if you want to start with a little bit of movement for that, with the feet nice and wide, you're just going to rock the knees side to side, letting the knees rock. You might just start with pressing your palms down and keeping your head neutral, or you can let your head roll with the knees, either the same direction or the opposite. Just opening up that earth energy here too. We'll do a little bit of a root chakra sequence. Ganesha is in the root chakra. And then whatever side your legs go to next, we're gonna allow them to drop over. So like I said, it can be nice to have a pillow or a bolster to catch that bottom thigh. And then you can always place that bottom foot on the top thigh, and that's gonna get a little bit more into the hip. But if that pulls at your knee, then you don't need to do that. You can even slide another pillow under that leg. The hands can stay low, or you can also start to reach your arms up or out to the sides. And then again, head can be neutral or rolling the same direction, or it can roll the other way. So if it goes the other way, we get a little bit more of a twist in the upper spine. And if at any point you want to kind of just go back to moving, the knees side to side, that flow is feeling a little better. Otherwise, we're going to hold here for some breaths. And breathing into the back body. So the head, the shoulders are down. Breathing into the lower body here. So depending on how you have your legs placed, you may be feeling a little bit of a hip and quad stretch, as well as a release in the low back, the hips. Let the eyes settle into the skull, and twists are nice to kind of get that clarification. So a lot of times, we can be surprised by those obstacles, right? Like they can be unexpected when things just kind of land in front of us or land around us and we don't know where it kind of came from. So twists help to create that clarity. They kind of rinse out anything that gets stuck or stagnant in the energy flow. This is a very much a rooting twist. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth and just gently, slowly exhale everything out. Then you can slide off the top foot if it was there. Let your knees come up. And then as it feels nice to move through that flow again, just kind of rolling side to side. Or you can hug your knees in between sides too, if that feels better. And just obviously noting what side you were just on. And then when you feel ready, the next time the knees roll to the other side, we're going to hold there too. Maybe you want to make sure there's some padding underneath the knee. The top foot can rest, or the bottom foot can rest on the top thigh. You might adjust the arms, or, each side is different. So, there might be an obstacle on one side that wasn't on the other. So we pause and then we find the sweetest way to move into the pose. Relax the head, relax the jaw. Again, if you need to bring the movement back, or if you want to hug the knees in, otherwise just being here for a little bit longer. With a slow, steady breath, letting the back body settle deeper into the earth. Deep breath in. And slowly let it all go. Start to unwind. And for a moment, go ahead and extend your legs out long and reach up through your arms. And again, you might even bring your fingers together again, like that big trunk, big stretch through your arms, your legs, your whole body. And then as you exhale, sweep your arms around, hug that right knee in. Just start to rock the knee side to side. The left leg can stay extended. You can also bend the knee and place the foot on the floor. Or you can even let the knee drop open into like a bound angle and stay that way. But if you do that, it might be nice to put something under the thigh. I kind of feel like when we do bound angle, which we'll do, you'll have the option to do Supta Baddha Konasana here shortly. It kind of reminds me of those elephant ears too. Good, and you can keep that right knee bent, or we'll hold behind the thigh and start to extend the leg up, and just a few times bend and extend the leg. And you can keep that up as long as you want, or when you're ready, we'll hold. And you can keep holding behind the thigh. If your shoulder mobility allows for you to hold the calf or the foot, that's fine. This is also a good option if you have that strap or belt to loop it around the top of the foot, just under the big toe ball mount. And then you want to hold your strap or whatever you're using in a place where your shoulders are down. So we don't want the shoulders up. We want to be really grounded here. So plug the right hip in, plug the shoulders down, back of the head down, tailbone down. And then you can just breathe and hold. If you want, you can always sort of let the leg rock out to the right and then over to the left. And you might feel a little bit more into the hip and into the IT band, or you can just stay here and get a nice long stretch here with the calf and the hamstrings. Just noticing, right? Like how we can respond sweetly to the pose, because sometimes the pose does sort of offer an obstacle, right? It's like, oh, this is really tight, or oh, how do I get comfortable here? But we always pause, we breathe into the shape, and then we allow. And that's one of the things I love about yin and restorative is we're in these poses usually, anywhere from 2 to 15 minutes. And so we have time to pause and consider sort of the sweetest way into the pose or out of the pose, right? These aren't poses we hold for a breath generally. Sometimes we'll do a little bit of flow to kind of get into them, but the ones that we opt to hold, usually we are here long enough to really consider, what the obstacles are and what the sweetest way through them, around them, removing them is. If you can't, that's one of the reasons we invented props, right? Like you can't reach your foot, grab a strap, grab a belt, grab a rope, right? You can't, we don't want to overstretch the joints, put a pillow in there. You want to be able to lay in the pose for a while, add some support. Yoga props were totally made because there was an obstacle to, how we could be in certain poses for a period of time without causing harm. This allows us to be in these shapes for a lot longer and get a lot of really, interesting benefits that you can't get when it's all just muscle. We're getting into the fascia and the ligaments and the tendons and the joints. A few more breaths here, slow, steady breaths, just really feeling into that leg. And again, maybe you're exploring, maybe you're just really still and sweet. Just listening to your body. Oh, I don't know how many times you do this series. Every time you do it, it's like the first time. I don't know, maybe unless you do it like every day, which I don't think I've ever done it every day, but at least once a month. And every month it feels like a slightly different experience. What are the obstacles this month? What do we need to pay attention to? What is this body telling us Take another big breath in. And sigh it out. You can hug the right knee in. Bend the left leg, place the foot down. And if it's comfortable for you to cross the right ankle over the left thigh, you can do that. You can also just keep hugging that right knee towards the right shoulder, or even take a little half happy baby, just depending on the knees. Otherwise, that right ankle can cross the left thigh, the left foot can stay planted, and you might rock here, or you can hug the left knee in. You can also take that strap and kind of lasso it around the back of the left thigh. We won't be here too long because we were doing a little bit more of a leg opening than hips, but this does really get into that, the glutes and the right hip. But lengthen your spine, soften your jaw. Just enjoy the breath. Find some sweetness here. Whatever is coming up in the hip. The hip always, offers some interesting obstacles. Deep breath in. Slow grounding exhale out. Slowly release. Again, hug that right knee in. And then again, if it's available, stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms, lengthen, get that long energy through the arms and the legs, and then hug that left knee. And you can choose to keep the right leg extended or place it down. Just gently rock that left knee, massaging the hip, massaging through the joints. And so again, this side might be completely different. My left side really does feel like a very different limb than my right, So the obstacles here might be very different. You'll start to explore. The knee can always stay bent or hold behind the thigh. And just begin to feel into that gentle bend and extend here. Just noticing the difference between the legs, waking up that root chakra energy. And you can keep that movement going, but then when you feel ready, you can extend the leg and stay there. And you might just keep your hands at your thigh or your calf or your foot. You might grab for that support again. Once more, just being mindful with how you hold it here, right? The head and the shoulders are down, the hip is plugged in. And then again, maybe you find a nice still spot. Maybe you allow that right thigh to open with some support, that half bound ankle, that little elephant ear. And again, the left leg can move to the left, it can move across to the right, or it can just stay right there at center. We've got several slow breaths here, back body into the earth. Just finding the pause as you need to in this part of the body, just noticing, right, like our direction here. Is it stillness? Is it gentle movement? Is it extra support? Last few breaths. And any other movements here, if you want to go a little deeper into the stretch. Inhale. Slow exhale. And then give that left knee a hug. Place that right foot back on the mat. And then you can draw that left knee out to the left or do a half happy baby here or cross the ankle over the thigh. Guide that left thigh open, right foot can stay on the mat. You might rock a little bit or you can hug that right knee in. My left hip is a little crankier than my right, so I'm gonna just press my hand into my left thigh as I kind of rock a little bit here. And sort of slowly moving around the obstacle of the left hip. And then maybe trying to hug it in and just seeing if that works. And you can use your strap or a rope or whatever you got going on there. Just if your head is lifting, if your shoulders are lifting, if your tailbone's not staying down, then it's not the appropriate pose, right? That's not the most supportive response. Right? We can be a little bit sweeter to ourselves here. Make sure that the earth energy stays intact, the skull, the shoulders, the low back. Deep breath in. Slow exhale out, settling into the earth. And then gently release the right foot. Hug the left knee in. Hug both knees in and just let yourself rock here a little bit. You can even hold on to your knees and draw circles, going a few rounds in each direction, rolling your head and your neck. And just feeling into the body here, just noticing if there's anything else that sort of needs to be released or tended to, because we are going to move into our final pose, which can either be a Supta Baddha Konasana or a traditional Shavasana. So if you feel like you really want to ground, then laying on the back with support under the head and under the knees is going to be your best bet. If you want a little more opening, if that feels a little sweeter, you can grab your bolster and some support, and you'll lay over the bolster with the soles of the feet together, or bed pillows, or however you want to do that. But just again, find the sweetest, most supportive way to settle here, right? The least obstacles to relaxation. And we will do a little guided journey here. And so, and take your time and bring in any support that feels good. Supporting the back of the body, supporting the joints, the tender parts. You can cover your eyes, cover your body. Just really tend to yourself. Feeling every breath bring you deeper into that conscious contact with the earth element, that earth energy that is grounding, nourishing, supportive, stabilizing, and also sometimes, a little bit stubborn. When you think about those literal obstacles, right? Like I always think of the Indiana Jones movie, right? The big boulder. Like when I think of obstacles, right? Like the way, like, being chased by the boulders, because that's what it feels like. Or, a big tree falls in the path. It's a good way to sort of sense how that feels emotionally and energetically, right? When an obstacle comes, it's like a mountain to climb. The earth energy is very much those obstacles, even though we have mental, emotional, spiritual obstacles, but they have that heaviness to them. And so Ganesha representing that sort of heavy earth energy, but also that sweet, supportive earth energy, the placer and remover. So feel the back of the body on the earth. And just in this moment, to offer that intention that you are supported. I am supported. I am nourished. Allow yourself to feel into this support, into this nourishment from the earth energy. Feel the back of your body and the front of your body, the right side and the left side. Feel the space between the eyebrows and the center of your throat. Right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring, and pinky finger. The right wrist, elbow, shoulder, the center of the throat. Left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. Left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of the throat, center of the heart, right side of the chest, center of the heart, left side of the chest, center of the heart, and feeling your heart center. Feel your heart. And then your solar plexus. The breath, any tension travel into the solar plexus, a few inches above your belly button. Breathing into the solar plexus. And then down into the low belly, a few inches below the belly button. Feel that low belly. And then sense the tailbone, the base of the spine. And then the right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe, right ankle, right knee, right hip, the tailbone, left hip, left knee, left ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe, left ankle, left knee, left hip, the tailbone. Feel both feet, both legs, your feet, your legs, and your tailbone settling into the earth, the legs and the tailbone, and the low belly, and the solar plexus, and your heart, and your throat, and your hands and your arms, and your third eye, and the crown, and your whole head, and your whole body, whole body being breathed and supported and nourished by the earth in this pause. Let yourself get heavy. Let the whole body get heavy, heavy, like lead, like deep roots, heavy. And then sense into lightness, quality of lightness, like a feather, like a cloud, suddenly light, and then heavy, and even heavier, more rooted, more weighted, as heavy, heavy as you can be. And then a sense of lightness, greater lightness, that feather, that cloud lifting, buoyant, and then heavy, and feeling heavy. As you settle into that heaviness, what is it like when you feel stuck? How does the heaviness change into stuck? You feel stuck, like you're in the mud, like you can't move. What is it like to be stuck? And then suddenly, what is it like to be free? What is it like to be untethered and free? Nothing limiting, nothing stopping, just completely free. And then again, you feel stuck. And let any symbols, energy around being stuck. And then being free. Let that go. Come back to the sense of heaviness, of groundedness on the earth. Drop into the space between the eyebrows as though you were watching a screen, waiting for something to play. Just watching this screen. And as you watch the screen, you are aware of your breath. That is, it expands and contracts. Watching the screen, watching your breath expand and contract. Keep coming back to watching the screen as your breath expands and contracts. Expands and contracts. And then suddenly on the screen, you see a tree appear. A beautiful ancient tree. And suddenly you are standing at this tree and you realize it has these beautiful deep roots. And all around these roots, there are these openings into the earth. And this tree is big and beautiful with these big roots. And as you move around it, feeling your feet on the earth, the roots, you notice one of these openings big enough for you to go into. And with a hand on the tree, you start to go down this opening, this root opening, and you start going down, and it's dark and moist, and you feel very protected by the tree. And so you go down and down and down. And just as you start to feel like maybe you should go back up, you suddenly sense a light and you move towards this light, still feeling the support of the earth, the tree. And as you come through, you are in a different realm. And this realm might be any way you could possibly imagine. There's no right or wrong way to vision this realm, this lower world realm. And you just allow yourself to notice what it's like, what the colors are like, the smells, the shapes. And as you move into this realm, you are aware that you are looking for someone. And you are looking for the embodiment of Ganesh. through the elephant. And you set your intention that somewhere in this place is a form of Ganesh, a form of the elephant. And you trust your intuition and you begin to move through this place. And sometimes this energy appears quickly, sometimes it doesn't, but we keep the intention that we are here to meet the embodiment of Ganesh for us tonight at this time. And if you do encounter this energy, you greet it. You greet Ganesha with reverence and gratitude. And we ask Ganesh to guide us tonight at this time, to be guided to help us with any obstacles that are weighing on our heart. And even if we don't find Ganesh, we allow ourselves to move with this intention that we are seeking Ganesha's guidance with obstacles. And we allow even that obstacle of looking for Ganesh to be part of the blessing, to be part of the teaching. And sometimes when we find these beings in these other realms, they communicate with us. Sometimes they don't. We follow them. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. You are traveling through the lower realms, seeking the embodiment of Ganesh or guidance with current obstacles. And that guidance might come through imagery, it might come through symbolism, it might come through language. There's no right or wrong. We just set the intention in this space we are in, to receive guidance from Ganesha and helping us through current obstacles. And stay with your breath, the intention, any imagery arising, knowing you can return here, you can seek Ganesh anytime in this place. Anytime there's obstacles, anytime you're struggling to find the pause or the sweetness in a situation. If you have found Ganesh, you can set the intention to continue to receive his guidance. Or maybe you set the intention to come back in a meditation to seek further guidance. For now, we offer gratitude for anything received, even just the seeking. And we slowly, with gratitude, bowing towards this space, bowing towards this realm, towards Ganesh, start to find our way back to the tree that brought us down. And we start to move back up through the earth, back up, back up, back up, until we again come through and find the roots and the tree. And we ground our feet on the earth and our hands on the tree, and we offer gratitude, feeling the support of the earth and the tree and the elephant energy of Ganesh. We again feel into the truth that I am supported, I am nourished, I am taken care of. And slowly we feel this image fade from the screen. We fade back into the space between the eyebrows. The image is swirling and releasing, and we are feeling our body on the earth. We are feeling our body held and supported and nourished on the earth. We begin to observe the breath. Take a deep breath in and out. You can stay here and rest, or you can start to move. Wiggling, stretching. Maybe just rolling to one side. You choose to come up to seated, you can again rest your hands on your legs or your heart, your belly, or we'll seal the practice with one of Ganesha's mudras, which actually is left palm up, right hand down, and you interlock your fingers with your thumbs sort of hugging in. So again, it's the ears, right? We pull on the ears here, the ears coming out to the sides. If that's uncomfortable, sometimes that, kind of pulls on our chest a little bit. You can just hand to heart, hand to belly. But we've done some opening tonight, so maybe that feels comfortable there. And we'll tone the mantra one more time, but in one breath. Then you can also just tone gom or hum or listen. Otherwise, take a deep breath in. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. We bow to Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. Many blessings. Thank you for practicing and have a great week. I hope to see you soon.